up, YouTubers? I am Leo, the guitarist. Today we're going to talk about compressor pedals. What they are, what they can do, and why you may or may not need one. So, today we're going to be working with the MXR Dyna Comp by Jim Dunlop. So, what is a compressor pedal? What it is it's a very subtle effect that increases your overall volume. And what I mean by that is that, for example, when you're playing your guitar, you tend to hear higher notes than you would bass notes. So you hear that a lot clearer than, and it's not because I'm playing lightly, I tend to be a hard strummer, but that's just the way it is. That's how our ears work. We respond to higher frequencies. So what a compressor, what that does is it evens it out, and it'll take whatever you're hitting hard or loud and it softens it, and whatever you're not hitting hard or loud enough, it raises it, so that way you don't miss anything. So compressor on, compressor off. So you can see, I don't know if you heard, but you do get a bit of a volume boost as well. Another thing that it can do is it can increase the sustain of your guitar. So, for example, let me hit that harder for you. See that? It fades away. The sustain wasn't that great. It was probably, what, 3 seconds? I didn't even count. But with the compressor on, see, I can go have a sandwich if I wanted to, but I won't because I'm doing this. Another thing that a compressor does is it tends to give you a little bit more of a percussive attack. So I'm going to try not to palm mute. Let me turn up my volume first. With it off, so it tends to be a little bit more percussive, a little bit more responsive to your strike of your pick. So I always found that to be a good thing, especially with metal. You know, you want, that heaviness, that, especially with those staccato notes. There are some cons to a compressor pedal. For example, you do get some noise. Now, I don't know if you can hear, I'm on my clean channel right now, and there's that very faint buzz, and that's, I had, my compressor's on. So that, to me, that tends to be the only real bad thing about a compressor pedal is the noise. You will hear arguments about it sucks your tone, it kills your dynamics, and such. But I find that with the right tuning and the right, messing around with the pedal, you can find a suitable setting. For example, my personal setting, because I actually do use the Dyna Comp, I tend to match the output with my amp, or I might go a little hair louder, just a little bit, just so I can stand out in the mix more. And for the sensitivity knob, which is, I think on other pedals it might be your sustain knob, I tend to turn that all the way off, because if you crank that, I'll show you, if you crank it, you get more noise. So I tend to keep that off, and I essentially use the compressor as simply a boost, a volume boost. Now, do you need one? Well, that's up to you. The only way you can really find out if you need one is by playing in context. Play with a band or a backing track and try a pedal. To my students, to my friends, to fellow guitarists, I always recommend the Dyna Comp simply because of the price range and the simplicity. I mean, it's only 2 knobs, and I think you can find these for maybe $75 new American. So I always say, hey, you need to check this one out. There are better pedals out there, but this is an excellent starting off point if you're curious about even trying one. I don't know, what else can I say? As far as placement on your board, a compressor tends to go first in line simply because if you're going to change all the dynamics of your tone and your guitar, you want that first before your overdrives and your modulation pedals. Simply because you want a perfectly even tone. You don't want a distorted tone going into a compressor, simply because that'll really destroy it. Remind me in the comments, and one day I'll actually do an experimentation video, like what will happen if you do that. I'm actually interested to find out myself, but I typically leave it first, like absolutely first, and then all my other pedals will follow. I don't know. So what do you think? Do you think you need one? Again, let's just run through it one more time. Compressor off. Compressor on. I don't know. You decide. Try one out, and I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you were against compressor pedals and now you love them, or if you still hate them, or I don't know. Just passing knowledge. So, you know me. Stay brutal, my friends.